What's up guys, Joe Parfanook here and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to show you how you can find your first wholesale supplier for Amazon FBA, and I'm going to go through the process step by step. And it is actually a lot easier than you think. It's as simple as doing a Google search, but you need to have the right keywords. An example of a search that we're going to do today is grocery distributors in New Jersey. And from there, we start the search to look for your first supplier. And one great supplier can make you a ton of money. So it's important that you know what you're doing and you do it right. That being said, let's get into the tutorial to show you exactly how you can capitalize on your first supplier and make a ton of money. And as always, if you got value, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into it.
What's up guys? Welcome to the tutorial portion of the video. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can find your first wholesale supplier. And like I said, it's all a simple search. So let's say we're looking for grocery, and grocery is a great place to start in my opinion for many beginners because one, there is a low return rate. The products are usually on the lower end of buy cost, so your risk is not as high, and it tends to just be an easier category for beginners to get started into. It's also a great category to do your own prep, so I would recommend if you're getting into wholesale with a budget of let's say $3,000 to $5,000, which is what I would personally recommend at the bare minimum. Wholesale, you're going to need, a lot of capital to get the prices that you want. If you have less than that, I would definitely recommend just doing retail or online arbitrage because that is the way to go. I have tons of videos on my channel about it. But, if you have 3 to 5, you have some capital to work with, then I would think it's not a bad idea to consider getting into wholesale. Obviously, there are the benefits of, being able to reorder, being able to order as many as you want, whereas some websites will limit you for retail and online arbitrage. So it makes sense, and I do have wholesale as a portion of my business. It is around 25 to 30% of what I sell. So, it makes sense to incorporate it in there. I personally believe the hybrid model is the way to go. But yeah, let's get into how you can find your first distributor. So it's very simple. I actually had a search saved. So grocery distributors, New Jersey is a good example. If you live in Chicago, do Chicago. If you live in NYC, you could still do New Jersey. Anything close by, it won't be too much on like LTL or freight or anything like that. If you live in Los Angeles or anywhere in California, you can do Los Angeles, you can do San Francisco. Think about key cities. They're always in metro areas. So grocery distributors, New Jersey, we run the search and then we have the places. So one thing you want to do is go to the maps. The maps will give you an indicator of where they are located. Plus, it just makes things a lot easier. You can see everything on the map. Google Maps is your best friend when it comes to looking for distributors. So we can go through a couple of these and see which ones look good, and I'll point out some that might not look as good. So we got this one, J and K distributors. They got some ratings. They do have some good ratings. Sounds like they are a reputable distributor. They're not like going to scam you or anything. That's what it looks like off first rip. We click on their website and we're going to go through to see what their products are. It looks like they have a lot. So this is something I probably would stay away from unless you can kind of see if they have any, stuff like snacks, stuff like that. But if it looks like they're selling mostly meat, perishable stuff, then obviously you're going to have a very hard time going through this. But this does not look good to me, in my opinion. You can go to About Us and see what they're about, but it looks like they're mostly importing like meat and cheeses. And they're basically, they do actually sell to e-commerce retailers. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a red flag, in my opinion. If they mention Amazon, then that is not a good sign. You want to avoid sites that specifically mention we cater to Amazon sellers, or we help with ungating or whatever, anything like that. You want to avoid that because there is just going to be a lot of competition, one. And also, I've just seen a lot of people get caught up in a mess and get scammed or something like that. I don't know why. It's just the reputation of Amazon sellers. They think we're stupid or something, and they could just walk all over us. So I prefer to avoid anything that blatantly says we sell to Amazon sellers, we have ASINs for you, not a good sign. And even if they are legit, a lot of people are going to find them, and then the prices are going to tank because there's going to be a lot of supply on those listings. So I would personally avoid it, but this looks like they do cater to e-commerce retailers. You could take a look at their catalog. I wouldn't say having a catalog on the website is a bad thing. It definitely makes it easier. I've seen like one of the distributor that I work with, they do actually have their catalog. They didn't actually have a website, but they just made one. But they have their catalog, like their weekly offer that you can see. But honestly, you can use that to your advantage. Like if I was to go back and get that account again, I would have gone through their offers, and I would have tried to find specific brands and products that I'm interested in. And that would make it a lot easier when you contact. You're most likely going to get or not necessarily most likely, but you're more likely to get a response if you know what you're talking about. If you know the products and the brands that you want, you are more likely to get that account. So let's see if we can see anything here. They have an order form. I want to look at their catalog and get an idea of what they sell. So it looks like they do sell a lot of, they actually do sell a lot of stuff that is not necessarily perishable. Well, grocery is perishable, but you know what I mean? Like stuff that's going to need a refrigerator or like cheese, something like that. Like obviously you want to stay away from that. You can't really sell it on Amazon, but you can see stuff here. And this looks interesting to me because they have a lot of like things that are not necessarily the norm. You know, I've seen a lot of my success with wholesale going outside of the norm. There's, different types of cultures and stuff where you can establish your own niche. Like this is like German baking stuff. You'd be surprised. Those type of things will probably sell pretty well on Amazon because they're harder to find in like a retail setting, like in a store, in like a grocery store. So where are they going to go? They're going to probably go to Amazon and try to find it if that's what they're interested in. But it wouldn't hurt to like look up this brand and see what does like Dr. Oetker sell well on Amazon. Let's look it up and see, is there any opportunity? We can honestly do that right now. That would be a good way to get going. This is how you can start to do your research. So let's say we type in Dr. Oetker. So looks like it does sell on Amazon. This one moves pretty quickly. This one also moves pretty quickly. They are very like small and light stuff, it looks like. So if you do a lot of like small like under $10 things, like this is a good sign, basically is what I'm saying. Like we're looking at these listings. If you can get this at a low enough price, this can be something potentially good. So like here we see, this looks like something that is wholesale. Because wholesale, you're going to see around 20 sellers or less typically on the listings, but more than 5 usually, depending on how exclusive your supplier is. But like if you see 2 to 3 sellers on the listing, it's probably private label. So you're going to see anywhere from like 5 to 20 something sellers on the listing. But this looks like an example, like try to find this specific ASIN and ask it at the price that you want it at. We go to SellerAmp, we can try to get like a target price here. So right now the buy box is at 20, but that's definitely a little inflated. Probably like $15 would be like our target sales price on a historical level. So I have a prep fee in here, which is going to kind of make this seem worse than it is. So it's actually a pack of 6. So this is definitely something you're going to want to prep on your own. But let's say like they sold us a 1-pack for 75 cents or something like that. Obviously, they're probably going to sell you by the cases, but let's say a per unit is 75 cents. I have a prep fee factored into my buy cost, which is why it makes this look worse than it is. If you can do this within SellerAmp, but let me try to find where total fees. You're going to see I have a prep fee here for $1.45. I have a miscellaneous fee, which is my virtual assistants. So if we did take that out, then we're going to probably see this to be profitable. So let's say theoretically take out that $1.45 because it's already baked into the fees for me. So so there we go. Now it's 19%. Obviously, if we add it back, we can get like our target price for 19% margin. Not to say you would get that price, but you could, say, hey, we need it at this price. They might counter, and then you go from there. And theoretically, like you're gonna probably get like 10 to 15% margin on wholesale, especially starting out if you have no relationship with the supplier. So 19 is kind of shooting a long shot, honestly, in my opinion. So like 450 would be your target price to buy at 19% margin. Let's say you wanted to take, say, $4 or something like that. That would get you, 10% margin or something like that. Like you can go in with a little bit, maybe try 19% and see what they say. Obviously, don't ask for like 40% margin. They're going to yell at you or say, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to sell to you. So be realistic, but like anywhere from 10 to 20% margin is probably a good start. But yeah, you can go through these and try to get the pricing here. It looks like there isn't really a pricing. So here comes your angle. You have specific products that you're looking for and you ask for the pricing, or you could just be like, look, one thing you can also say is how many units do we have to buy to get it at, let's say, 450? If we need to pay 450, how many units do we have to buy to get it at that price? So that's another angle you can go about. And when you're contacting them, you want to be like through the email. I would recommend calling, but if you're going to email, you should be like, hey, we are a distributor located in New Jersey. We have a warehouse. Let's say it's a prep center, or obviously if you're running it out of your house, you kind of have to be honest. Some of these smaller distributors will deliver to residentials. So you can say, look, I'm being honest here. Like we run it out of a residential. That's just how we operate. We're going to get a warehouse soon or something like that. But having the prep center for me has made it a little bit easier because I can just front and say it's a warehouse. It's my warehouse. So that is, one advantage of a prep center. But yeah, you would just be like, hey, we're a distributor company here in New Jersey. We sell to retailers. We sell to local customers and stuff like that. You have a client base of, let's say, 100 people. Who knows? You can get creative with it. I could say my Instagram followers or my client base. If I wanted to, I could say I have a network of 5,000 clients. What are they going to do? How are they going to prove that? And I also say we sell online as well. You got to be a little honest here because they might ask Amazon. And then I'm going to say, if they ask me about Amazon, which I don't mention Amazon, but if they do ask, I'm like, we sell as one of our distribution channels is Amazon, but we don't predominantly sell there or something like that. You could just say that it is one of your distribution channels. So you make them aware of it. Some brands do not allow them to sell to Amazon sellers. That's why they ask that a lot of the time. Or they just have a bad reputation against Amazon sellers. But like, hey, if you order from them and you show that you're legit, you know what you're talking about, you shouldn't run into any problems with that. But yeah, pretty much that. And then it would just be, continuing to contact different distributors after you've contacted this one and you've told them, hey, we need this. Let's say we're looking at the product here. We need, 10 cases of this or something like that. And what's the price that you can give us for? Or you can just be like, we need it at this price. How many cases do we need to order? After you've contacted them with specific stuff like that, saying like you're a distributor in the area and you've contacted them with specific products, then, see what they say and you go from there and then you look for other distributors. So it's essentially just going through as many as possible. It's finding a needle in a haystack almost, especially with these type of distributors here. You're going to go through a bunch and you're going to find some good ones, and then you're going to find some ones that aren't really necessarily that good. So we have heritage distributors here. International, I like that they have like their own niche. They sell international stuff. That's interesting and appealing to me. So they have a wholesale and a retail front. I don't know if this necessarily would be good. It could be worth to check it out and see if any of these stuff sell on Amazon, but this looks a little strange to me just because it's like very split up. They're just throwing random products at you. Not necessarily a huge fan of this, but they do have wholesale African products, which is kind of interesting. I've bought something similar to this before. You can look this up on Amazon, see like, does Alomo Bitters sell on Amazon? So it looks like they do sell on Amazon. There are some ASINs here. You could see, hey, do you have this specific SKU in stock? They sell that. It's one way you can start to contact them and give them specific brands and products that you want. So it's as simple as doing a search on Amazon and looking for the product. It's people like to overcomplicate it, but it's really not that hard. They got I don't know what that really is, but you could look these specific products up. African palm oil. There you go. And then you keep going, and then you just give them specific prices. You contact. I would recommend calling. You're going to get a lot more accomplished when you pick up the phone and start dialing and calling them, because it's a lot easier to communicate. And a lot of sales reps will just throw your email in the trash, to be honest with you. They get a lot of emails that sound very similar, and a lot of times they don't answer them. But if you're more specific about what you want, you're more likely to get a response. But if you call them, you're even more likely to get that response. So yeah, this is pretty much the entire strategy that I do to find distributors in my area, and it definitely will work for you. Like I said, I like going after niches. I like calling. I like being very specific about what I want, and that will help me get accounts. So hope that helps you get some profitable accounts as well. And as always, if you got value from this video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.